Welcome to Craig's Gun Channel. This week we're going to cover the Beretta M9A1-22. The Beretta 92 series of pistols went into production in the 70s. They're a short recoil semi-automatic pistol that feature a double-action single-action trigger and are chambered at 9mm, being fed from detachable 15-round magazines. Since their introduction, they've been adopted by many police and military forces around the world, including the United States military, designated as the M9. Over the years, it's undergone a series of updates, modifications, and variations, which even includes a fully automatic machine pistol version. Over the past 40-plus years, it's developed a reputation for rugged reliability and has become a favored pistol by many. The 9mm that it's chambered in has become the primary pistol caliber the world over by military forces, police units, and even the general public, and due to that has become one of the most economical to shoot calibers. Even with that being the case, it's easy to build up quite a bill if you practice often. The solution, of course, is to use an even cheaper alternative for practice or casual shooting, and the cheapest would be the .22 long rifle cartridge. Seeing a demand for a .22 long rifle chambering for its flagship pistol, Beretta offered a .22 rimfire version in 2015 and followed it up with the M9A1 version in 2016. Beretta outsourced these pistols for production to Umarex of Germany, a company better known for their BB guns. I know a lot of people will dismiss these pistols due to that. However, I must point out that Umarex, in addition to the many air guns that people are familiar with, has also made firearms for some time as well. In fact, Umarex is currently the parent company for Walther of Germany, having purchased them back in 1993, so they do have some experience with real firearms. Both of these pistols feature identical controls and operation to their 9mm counterparts. They're scaled at the same size and dimensions, takedown is the same, and they feature 15-round magazines, or 10 where required by law, the same as the standard 9mm versions. The only discernible difference is the weight. They have a nice solid heft, however they are lighter than the originals, weighing in at around 26 ounces as opposed to 33 ounces for the 9mm versions. Let's take a closer look. And before we start, do a quick safety check. Magazine is empty. Chamber is free and clear. So I'll go ahead and take a look at the design and features. We have the trigger. It is a double action, single action trigger. If the hammer is in the uncocked position, the trigger is in the double action state. So pulling the trigger would cock the hammer and then fire it. So as you see, it cocks back and then would fire. If the trigger, or the hammer rather, was pulled back, then the trigger is in the single action position so that it would just take the short trigger pull to operate it. Have the magazine release. You would simply push down to release the magazine. We have the frame mounted safety. That is also a decocker. So as far as the safety first, if the red dot's showing, it means it is in the ready to fire position. If you pull the lever down, it's now in the safe position, and at this point the trigger is disconnected from the hammer. Now as far as the decocker function, if the hammer is in the cocked position, when you pull down the safety, it will put it on safe and release or decock the hammer. Now when it's on safe, you can still manipulate the slide if you needed to open it up for some reason. When you come back forward with the slide, it will automatically decock the hammer again as long as that safety is still on. Have the slide lock there. That can be operated manually, or when the last round is fired, the magazine operates it internally to lock the slide back. And then of course to release the slide, you would simply just pull down. So let's go ahead and take a look at disassembly. This lever right here is the disassembly lever. Now it does have a lock, which is this button right here. So when you push on that button, it allows you to then unlock the disassembly lever. So we'll go ahead and push in on the button, and this little post here comes up and allows you to then pull the lever down. Once the lever's down, the slide simply comes off the frame. So take a look at the frame first. We have our ejector right there. And as far as what you'd want to do here, you just want to clean off the rail assemblies, clean any gunk out anywhere, basically scrub it all down, give it a light coating of oil for corrosion prevention and lubrication, and that's just as far as you'd really want to then disassemble any of this. Any other disassembly or anything like that, you would want to basically just not do unless something was broken. Any damage can render the firearm inoperable or unsafe if any of these parts are damaged in any way. So unless you're really comfortable with what you're doing, this is as far down as you'd really want to go. On the slide itself, we have our recoil spring and guide rod. It is a captive assembly. To remove that, you would simply push forward and lift up. So forward slightly and up, and then that can come out. The barrel can then lift, go forward a slight bit, lift up, and then out. And then we have the slide itself. On the slide, we have our extractor right there. And this is really as far as you'd want to disassemble this. We have our firing pin right here. And really, you do want to clean everything out, clean any gunk out or anything. There's no need to disassemble this any further. And if there's any damage or anything in there, there's the only reason why you would ever want to disassemble this any further. So, reassembly, you'd simply put the barrel back in, go forward, and then so you can go down far enough to go down until it goes down, and then pull it back. Now, if you notice, this looks like its bigger 9mm brother. You have the barrel, except on the 9mm, this section in here has a pivoting lock assembly to lock the barrel. With the 22 version, there is no lock assembly. Basically, it operates as a blowback operated firearm. So it has the look and feel and even the weight of the full 9mm. However, it doesn't have the locking assembly. So reassembly, put the barrel in, push it back, take out your guide rod. The plunger back goes into a little saddle right here. It's kind of hard to see, but the saddle's right there. So you put the plunger tube in, the guide rod, and go down and forward and down slightly until it locks it in place there. You then align the rails on the slide with the rails on the frame. And then pull the slide back until it's pretty much in the assembled position, and lift the assembly lever up, and it locks it back in place. Go ahead and do a function check, and we're fully assembled. And that's it. At the range, I found this pistol to be very reliable and accurate. And we're at the range today with the Beretta M9-22. Go ahead and take some shots and see how it does. This is a good gun to practice training as opposed to a full 9mm. It's a lot more affordable to shoot. The only thing it doesn't recreate, because it has similar weight and feel, is the recoil. You actually almost expect it to recoil. Because of the weight of the gun and the size of it, there's practically no recoil at all. As would be expected with a .22 long rifle, there was no real recoil to speak of, which really is the only downside I could list in using this pistol to practice in place of a 9mm version. Learning to adapt to the recoil that the 9mm brings is a necessary part of that practice, so follow-up shot placement is not as easily duplicated. However, for accurate sight alignment and presentation to target, it's an excellent choice as it duplicates the size, operation, and sight picture. Also, for casual plinking for fun, or for a pistol to use to introduce someone to shooting sports, it's an excellent option. Its full size, low recoil, and the fact that it holds 15 rounds make it a great beginner gun. And as it also has the same takedown and controls as its full-size cousins, it would be easy to transition to them from it. I hope that this information is of value, and if you liked the video, I would ask for you to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to continue to see more like this. At Craig's Gun Channel, my goal is to remain objective and honest about all of the opinions I express on the items I feature. I do not receive payment from any of the companies whose products I cover, and I would ask you to please consider supporting the channel via Patreon or by purchasing CGC gear from my website. Links are in the description, and I appreciate your viewership. I value your comments and feedback, and as always, until next week, stay safe.